What's up, y'all? Goofy Rexy here. Hope everybody is doing well, and welcome, guys, to the weekly headliner update, week number 72. Now, if you're into the weekly headliner, this is where we discuss what is upcoming this week in Marvel Strike Force, and then we recap the important topics from the previous week as well. I got lots to talk about here on the show this week. We have Wong's event that's going to be ending, so we're going to talk about that. And so just making sure that we kind of close out that event here. We also do have a new big event for Nico, which is going to be coming out this week. There's 3 milestones and then one sort of calendar to pay attention to. We're going to go through the details here in order to get you prepared for whenever that event does start. I'm also hearing some rumbling and some woes in regards to Cosmic Crucible. Some who are not enjoying it. We're going to talk about some of the reasons as to why that may be. And then after a few days, guys, how do we feel about Rogue's kit? Has the information kit changed, I should say? Has the information been a little bit easier to digest? We're going to talk about that and why there are some good things about it, although mostly I still kind of don't like it. But we're going to talk about that, guys, and so much more on the weekly headliner update. And we're going to start right now. All right, y'all, welcome back. Like I said, we got lots to talk about here on the weekly headliner update. The first thing I wanted to dive into is the Wong event, right? So this event is going to be ending the next day in 8 hours from when I'm recording this video. And now, for the most part, it's been a decent event. I'm able to get that costume, which is really nice, and then some other rewards as well, some teal gear, and some resources that you need for your roster here. Now, the Ancient Arts milestone, fairly easy to complete for most players in regards to like just doing, if you had enough blitz teams and could get enough blitz wins and then do all 5 of your arena attacks every day, you're able to complete the Ancient Arts milestone. They also have the web milestone as well. If we are able to win enough raid matchups, you were able to complete that milestone also. And then we have a calendar, right, where you're able to get, I think there's one more day left where you can get another additional orb from the calendar. But yeah, from a free-to-play perspective, there was some good stuff that you could get here. Unfortunately, you could not complete the Chosen One milestone if you're going to be going the free-to-play route. Ultimately, you're going to end up being about 3 milestones short here if you're going to go the free-to-play route. So that portion of it doesn't feel great. Obviously, the additional 25 Wong shards would have been really nice. The extra 10 Armory 16 orbs would have been nice. And for me personally, I could really use a lot of these mini uniques when it comes to the teal mini uniques for mystic characters. I could definitely really use that, but the offers just aren't good enough for me to even try to even think about pulling the trigger. I mean, take a look at this offer right here, just $40 for, you're getting 9 orbs. So yeah, I'll be able to get, you know, I think 1 or 2, one of those mini uniques, but I definitely would not be able to get the last one. And then for me, like, this $40 is just way too steep. Yes, I'm getting a gold orb, so not very good from my perspective, and I don't like that. And I do wish that they would start going back to the free-to-play route where you're able to complete all the milestones going the free-to-play route. But yes, I mean, a good event, good costume, or decent event, I should say, good costume, but that's going to be coming to an end here next day and 9 hours from when I'm recording this. All right, y'all, and probably the biggest event of this week is going to be the Sister Grimm event, which is the Nico event slash. There's a lot going on with this event here. There's 3 milestones in total. There's 1 milestone, which is the overarching milestone that is called the Sister Grimm milestone here. Now, that milestone, you're going to be able to earn points towards that by battling in Alliance War. You can get some extra points here by using A-Force characters. If you have them at higher gear tiers, you're going to get some extra points as well. All of these points are additive points. So you're going to be able to get those additional points by being able to battle in Alliance War with these characters, or just doing your regular Alliance War attacks. But of course, you get those extra points by using A-Force characters. Then there's you can also win if you win in raid matchups, that you're going to be able to get points as well. And then you can get additional points by winning with characters that have the X-Men trait. And then, of course, the higher their gear tier, you're going to be able to get those additive points as well that will contribute to this milestone. The one thing I will say about this is that I don't like the fact that you have to win in raids. They did this the last time as well, or they're doing this right now with the Wong milestone, the web milestone there. I'm actually not really a big fan of that. The reason why is because it kind of creates this unhealthy competition. Sometimes, usually with some of these events, you go in, you exit a node, maybe you kind of allow somebody else to do it, especially with X-Men, right? Like, you get these additional points now by using X-Men characters. if you're doing gamma rays, that can be challenging, because I know for a fact that I can go through 3 nodes with my X-Men characters and then be done with it. And then what happens to the person that's coming behind me if they're going to the left side? So, I don't know. It just kind of creates this unhealthy competition, and having to win in raids kind of feels bad. I suspect that maybe players might drop down. Maybe it's not that bad, but players probably will drop down maybe their Doom raid difficulty if they're doing 2.2. Maybe they do 2.1. If you're doing 2.3, maybe you do 2.2, just to make sure that you're able to win those matchups with your X-Men team or something like that towards the end of the raids. But like I said, this is an overarching milestone. It's the Sister Grimm milestone, and they kind of break down the points here with the chart. The biggest milestone to get to is going to be milestone 35, where you're going to need 49,500 points. That's going to give you Nico's staff. Nico's staff is, remember, this one is going to, the Nico staff contributes to the A Force of Nature event. That Nico staff is going to give you 10,000 points towards that A Force of Nature event. So very important to try to figure out exactly how you can, for the Sister Grimm milestone, get all the way to milestone 35 to then get the A Force emblems, but then also get the Nico staff as well. But the way that you're going to be able to do that is that you have these other 2 milestones, which are also going to give you points that go directly towards the Sister Grimm milestone, which we just talked about. The Enchanted Bloodlines milestone, this is going to be a blitz event. It's essentially a 2-day blitz event that repeats, I believe it said 3 times. Like, so you're going to be able to do this 2-day blitz 3 times throughout a 6-day total. They mentioned that you're going to be able to earn some Jessica Jones shards, and then yes, once again, the Sister Grimm points that will contribute to the Sister Grimm milestone. So don't just have to do those Alliance War matchups and the raid matchups for Sister Grimm, but you're also going to be able to do blitzes and some other stuff for the runaway spell to get those points toward the Sister Grimm milestones as well. They broke it down where they showed you what the blitz points are. Win a blitz, you get 60 points. I believe it's per blitz character. You get additional points by winning with Young Avenger characters in blitz, and if they have higher gear tiers, you get the additive points for having them at higher gear tier levels. Those points are additive depending on where the gear tier is for those characters. And then they break down again. You can see the Sister Grimm milestone points here. You get some other rewards as well that are also there. But yeah, no math has been done on this yet, so we'll probably have to figure that out tomorrow. Maybe make a video tomorrow about that. And then we have the Runaway Spell milestone. This is a web milestone where when you spend your campaign energy, you'll be able to get these additional points, the Sister Grimm milestone points, which will then contribute to the Sister Grimm milestone, which will help you to be able to get to that milestone 35, which we just talked about. So those are some things. And it also there's also a calendar. I didn't mention this earlier. There's also a Sister Grimm calendar where you're going to be able to get some points throughout that event as well. So a lot of stuff to pay attention to here. There's essentially 4 different areas where you're going to have to pay attention to, right? You have your overarching milestone for Sister Grimm. You have the Enchanted Bloodline milestones, which is where you're going to be doing your blitzing. You have your Runaway milestone, which is where you're going to be spending your campaign energy. And then you have the calendar where you have to log in every day and then collect those points. That's going to contribute towards the overarching Sister Grimm milestone, help you to be able to get that Nico staff, which will give you those 10,000 points. Which will then, of course, give you those 10,000 points to go towards your A Force of Nature milestone, which is very important because me right now, I'm looking at my A Force of Nature and I'm like, okay, we got 9 days left on this event. I'm at 31,660 points. The Nico staff, getting that is definitely going to be helpful. I'll be able to be at 42,660, but still need to figure out a way. How am I going to be able to get all the way to milestone 40 so I can collect and get this teal gear? That we're still trying to figure out right now. So hopefully the picture in regards to that becomes a little bit clearer soon. Where are you guys trending right now with the A Force of Nature milestone? Just kind of curious to see where you guys are landing right now, and do you think that you're kind of trending in a good positive pace? I think for 9 days left, 31,660 is actually not a bad place to be, especially knowing that there's going to be 10,000 points for the Nico staff. I think we may be in a good spot. We're just not entirely sure as of yet. But wanted to shift gears here and talk about something that's going to be happening this week. There's going to be a campaign event that's going to start on Friday for Phantom X, right? So Phantom X is going to be getting its own event campaign. We knew about this already. They mentioned this in the previous blog post here. You will need characters that do have the Debonair trait. So let's take a look at this. I filtered out my roster already with the Debonair trait. There's Sharon Carter, Dagger, Phyla, Doctor Strange, Heartless that's there, Star-Lord, T'Challa. There's Mr. Sinister, who does still have some value here in Arena. I'm not or used to before. I think Morgan Le Fay, everybody got their red stars from Morgan Le Fay. He used to be usable there, but definitely good on the Marauders team when it comes to defense. There's some decent characters that are here. A-Force characters too do have the Debonair trait, so Spider-Woman, Nico, Minoru, and then of course Madeline Pryor also does have the tag, the Debonair trait as well. Phantom X and Gambit also have it. So we'll probably make a video once again this week sometime talking about the best characters for the Debonair, the Phantom X event, which one's probably going to give you the best value for your roster. We'll talk about that as we approach it. Maybe we'll do that video on Wednesday, but just pay attention to that to make sure that you're going to be ready for the event campaign. I also wanted to talk about something else here, the Strike Pass. So that's going to be changing this week. We're kind of wrapping up right now the Strike Pass for Misty Knight, and then we're going to be going into a new Strike Pass. This one is going to be interesting. So kind of similar to what they did with the Battle Pass here, they're going to be making some changes. So kicking off on May 24th, if you don't want to miss the magical rewards, the character shards up for grabs are Doctor Strange Heartless, Wong, Mordo, and then they also mention others, which is very interesting because I don't know how you're going to include 4 characters into the Strike Pass. I feel like that's going to make it very sort of congested, in my opinion. So I'm kind of not quite sure why they're doing it that way. The Season 16 Premium Path will feature Baron Mordo's Multiverse of Madness costume. You'll receive the number of bits required to purchase a costume on Milestone 3. But of course, you're going to have to pay $20 in order to be able to get that costume, right? This is one thing I'm a little concerned about. The Doctor Strange Heartless shards, the Wong shards, and then also the Mordo shards and others, right? If we took a look, they mentioned this before. That remember last week they mentioned that the Battle Pass that they were going to include Young Avenger shards, Echo, and Kate Bishop, and Miss Marvel, and then we jumped into this on Friday, and I took a look, and I'm like, okay, so you get 25 Miss Marvel shards that most players already have. And then if you go free to play, you're only getting 10 shards for Echo. And if you go premium, you're only getting 20 shards for Echo, right? And it's the same thing for Kate Bishop as well. If they're going to do that for the Strike Pass, I mean, sure, I'll take the shards, but it doesn't, I mean, don't marketing and make it sound like it's that good, right? Because it really wasn't, in my opinion. It was largely just sort of okay and sort of kind of underwhelming, if you ask me. So those are kind of my thoughts. They're going to be doing that with the Strike Pass. We're going to be getting multiple character shards here. I'm concerned about the others. Like, I'm 100% okay with Doctor Strange Heartless, with Wong. I'm okay with those shards, but anything else, so the others, that definitely is a little bit of a concern. And I would prefer, honestly, if they had just added Agatha shards. It kind of seems like there's really, the event was bad. Players really probably would have preferred getting, as opposed to getting Doctor Strange Heartless, probably getting Agatha shards as opposed to him. Because honestly, I mean, a lot of people probably would benefit. If you were here for the event, you got a decent amount of shards for Doctor Strange Heartless, right? Those are my thoughts where that is concerned. But that's pretty much it for kind of stuff that's going on this week here. Now, kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some stuff that happened last week. And this was probably the biggest topic from Friday's blog post. It was Rogue's ability correction. So they made a change to her kit. If you haven't seen it already, I'll read it really quickly. Last week's blog contained a couple of errors with Rogue's ability text. We incorrectly stated that Rogue's special ability, Gloves Off, has an energy cost of 2/2. The actual energy cost is 6/6. Her ability, or special ability, was also missing the final stating the attack is unavoidable and then cannot be blocked. With some time to kind of think about this, I still don't like it, right? I think that they should have released this information prior to, as opposed to waiting an entire week before Phantom X was released into MSF, right? We probably should have gotten some information in regards to that. Unfortunately, they kind of went in a direction that, for me, just it took too long. And although I do think it's probably a little bit more appropriate that she's now, her energy cost is now 6 out of 6 as opposed to 2 out of 2. Because when I some of you guys too, I made a video about this on Saturday. A lot of you guys mentioned this, that her kit was broken at 2/2, right? Can you imagine, like in PvE, it would have been great to use Rogue, but also being that she's going to be a Cosmic Crucible character, she would have been absolutely horrendous to play against if you did not have a Rogue to counter her yourself. And even if you did, it still would be bad because it depends on who gets that turn 1, right? It would have been terrible, right, to have gone against Rogue with her ability being that dynamic. 2-2 with the speed bar increase, that would have been awful. But I think a lot of us just wanted to be able to use Rogue in raids for the Doom Mutant raids in difficulty 2.1 and higher. The mutant nodes are so challenging, and having Rogue there, that would make it so much easier to be able to ability block, the trap trauma, Gambit doing out of turn damage. It would have felt really good to be able to use her, and this kind of makes her sort of unusable in raids because of the long cooldown being at a 6 out of 6. So that's sort of kind of the reason why a lot of us felt the way that we felt. It also does it change our desire to try to get Rogue? I don't think so. I think she's a very iconic character. I think a lot of players are definitely going to want to grab her anyways, but definitely for sure, I do understand why. And that's why I was frustrated, because I'm like, it took a week. You could have released this information earlier. Also, we were kind of planning towards this. It was a little bit of a letdown, in my opinion. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. That's kind of where I stood with everything. As far as this is concerned, we're still waiting for a 5th character. There's rumors that are out there that it might be Nightcrawler. If that's the case, I'm cool with Nightcrawler. And someone was saying, hey, maybe that character gives her ability energy, which I guess is okay in Cosmic Crucible, but doesn't really help out much in raids when you're looking at it from that perspective. So those are my thoughts on Rogue, and kind of that's where I'm going to leave it for right now. Am I still going to try to go get Rogue? Absolutely. Am I going to try to get a 6-star Rogue now? Probably not. I'm probably just going to stick with a 5-star. So there is a little bit of an impact and a change where that is concerned. Next thing I wanted to discuss here is Cosmic Crucible. So I've been hearing some rumblings, some thoughts in regards to Cosmic Crucible, and kind of like the experience that players have been having going against Cosmic Crucible. Now this period for me was actually pretty good. It's gone well so far. I'm gonna tell you, these borders sometimes can be very misleading. I'm like, purple border, but what does that mean? And I go in and I'm like, oh, Morgan Le Fay. Granted, only a 3-star Morgan Le Fay, but still a Morgan Le Fay that I had to face, and there were some challenges with definitely this room in difficulty 6. But what I'm hearing is that a lot of players, although they know it's an important game mode, that they're kind of just over it already, right? And not really enjoying their experience. It kind of just seems like another game mode that requires them to log in every day. It's only 3 times a week, but you got to log in 3 times a week. You have to log in over the weekend. I think that's probably also another thing, right? Players have to log in over the weekend in order for them to be able to get their attacks in. And that is just, there's so much screen time in the game. I don't think it's entirely Cosmic Crucible's fault. I think what the issue is that this has been a very taxing burnout month for a lot of players. If you are competitive, every week you've had to do an important blitz. Every week there has been events where you've had to do war attacks. There have been events where you have to log in and spend and collect your campaign energy, make sure your campaign energy is not capped, because there's events that are tied towards campaign energy. It's been a very, very, very taxing month, and I just think that they need to understand that, and that's the reason why Cosmic Crucible is probably not being received very well. On top of that, people not getting the wins when they're supposed to be getting their wins, right? That was bad. I don't know if that's still happening. Let me know if it is, but that was an issue. There's also the issue of the fact that the screen is zoomed out when you're doing your matchups. Like, that doesn't look great either. You can't properly see some of the buffs that are there. The fact that there's a bug where you can't, a team looks one way, you go into a matchup, they look a different way because there's like a Stark Tech bug that's going on. So a lot of people don't like the fact that they can see every room, right? That there's really no sort of ambiguity. There's no suspense. Like, we don't know what's hiding behind XYZ room. Players don't know. That kind of hides the excitement of the game mode. So I think that's the reason why a lot of people definitely are probably not receiving this game mode very well. I think it's a good game mode. I think that there definitely can be some improvements, a lot of improvements if you ask me, but for what it is, I don't think that the reason why players aren't receiving Cosmic Crucible has entirely to do with Cosmic Crucible. Maybe I'm wrong, you let me know. But those are kind of just my thoughts where that is concerned. But yeah, I mean, I know it's important, but I'm kind of burnt out from it as well, just because of everything else that's going on in Marvel Strike Force right now. But another thing I wanted to talk about, kind of wrapping up some stuff here, is that we did get I don't know, you guys probably saw this, but Madeline Pryor, I can't pull it up right now. We got a message in the game that said that Madeline Pryor is now available in the premium orbs, in the ultimate orbs, and the basic orbs. And I don't know if you guys are like me, right, on mega orbs, where I pretty much basically save all of my orbs, right? So I'll save, we just had a reset. I'll save my premium orbs, I'll save my basic orbs, and whatever mega orbs I get, I'll save those as well. Because if there's a character that got released and I didn't get very good shards for him, as soon as they add that character into the orbs, I'll try to pull in bulk and try to get the shards for those characters, which is the reason why you see me have 81 premium orbs right now. Because I'm just like, Agatha, as soon as they release Agatha into these orbs, I'll definitely be able to go and grab them. I even save my ultimate orbs as well. I have like 41 of them. So as soon as Agatha gets released into these orbs, I'm definitely gonna go ahead and grab them. They just added Wong, but why was Madeline Pryor added to the premium orb before Agatha was? Agatha's event was before hers. Why? It is kind of, it's really frustrating, right? If you're a player that's kind of just been sitting and waiting to pop these orbs, that they have not released Agatha into any of these orbs as of yet. It makes me wonder if they're just going to be holding on to her forever. That for me kind of feels bad. There already is a farmability issue in the game anyways. So for me, that just kind of adds to the frustration for a lot of players. So want to know why they did that? Doesn't feel good. I know you're probably doing, a lot of you guys are doing some of the same stuff that I'm doing as well. So curious to see if they're going to make some changes where that is concerned. But some other things to wrap up, Doc Ock was just added as a permanent legendary character, which I think is kind of nice. It wasn't really announced. It was done in game, but wasn't really announced until later on, which I want to say the scope leap. Like, you guys have bad PR anyways. Like, some things are not going well at all. When it comes to Marvel Strike Force, you got to take the wins when you can, man. Announce Doc Ock going into being a permanent legendary and being reduced to a 4-star unlock. Like, seriously, that's something to celebrate and something to take the wins when you can, right? Same thing with Payday. Didn't really announce Payday. You increased the golden Payday, but never really talked about it. It's like, yeah, it's a nice surprise, but also just shows poor communication. And then, of course, we have things like Rogue's Kit, right, which was incorrectly communicated. You got to take the wins when the wins are there, guys. Seriously, Payday was a good thing. The increase in gold there. Doc Ock being a 4-star unlock. Very good, I think, for earlier players. Good stuff, guys. You guys are going to be upfront a little bit more about this stuff so that you can be celebrated when the time is right to be celebrated, all right? But listen, those are my things, guys, that I wanted to talk about here for this week. I'm sorry I went through this video kind of quickly here. Got a meeting that I got to jump into. But listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. Until next time, don't forget to also, by the way, to like and subscribe to the channel, and also hit the notification bell so that you know when my videos do go live. But until next time, guys, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. Bye.